Hello walkers, and welcome to somewhat rainy Fargo, North Dakota this morning at about 8 a.m. Let me flip you around here if I can. My name is Henry. As always, I will be your proxy walker today, your virtual travel guide as we explore together Fargo, North Dakota. I kept wanting to say North Carolina, but we are far from the Carolinas. Let me just look something up here, namely the temperature. It is 63 degrees Fahrenheit here and 17 degrees Celsius. We are starting off at 2nd and Broadway. Broadway's, I'm going to swing you around here. Broadway's closed off for the day. It is late August. I'm not sure why. I think they're going to have a street concert or something here. They have this awesome kind of community little park down here, Broadway Square in Fargo, Nodak, as the sign says there. Some AstroTurf. We are here for a traveling mail job, for lack of a better term. Well, it is a job. And so I'm going to take you guys around, obviously. We've been here for a couple days, walking around, exploring the downtown area of Fargo and Moorhead, Minnesota, which is right across the Red River. We're lucky enough to be staying at the Jasper Hotel, which is really pretty nice. Just gonna kind of bounce around here. In fact, I don't know why I even crossed the street, because I wanted to show you that little garden area. I can maybe see it from here. Outdoor seating at the Rose Wild restaurant. Very nice little hotel bar and restaurant, coffee shop, etc. What else? Oh, let's talk about Fargo a little bit. It's about 100,000 people, a little over. And we ate over here at Teddy's the other day for Teddy Roosevelt. Anyway, it's 105,000 people on the border of Minnesota. Shares kind of a metropolitan area with Moorhead. And we've done some cool stuff. We went and saw a bunch of murals yesterday. And then hi there. And we went and kayaked on the Red River for a little while. It's a nice little coffee shop where I've been getting coffee, Atomic Coffee. And then they've got the bison. The bison is sort of an iconic symbol that North Dakota has adopted. What else? I was going to say something about the Red River. Oh yeah, Nature Up North was a provider there. Nice guy, John. Gave us all the lowdown and provided the kayaks over at the Hjemkomst Center. And of course, North Dakota is, at least on the eastern side where we are, kind of known for its Nordic, how do I say this, Nordic cultural input, in the sense that a lot of people from the Nordic countries came over here in the late 1800s to farm. Amazing farming opportunities out here. There's something called bonanza farms. I don't really understand, but basically they came out and made big farms, turned a huge profit, and then settlers came in. We're going to come up here eventually and get to the Great Northern Railway Station. This is a pretty cool old theater, the Fargo. And what I'm going to try and do is, it's Friday morning, obviously, pretty early. And this evening, this place gets pretty hopping. So I'm gonna, if it's not raining this evening, I'm gonna come down and show you the downtown area at night too. That's the intent. We'll see if I can actually squeeze that in. We're gonna be going to the Air Museum later with traveling mail, so we're looking forward to that. We've been eating at great restaurants. Of course, there's a few hotels at Jasper and a couple others downtown. And I'm going to show you a shop up here that we really enjoyed. Traveling Mail has Swedish family heritage. So you come up on 4th Avenue. And there's a shop up here called Stabo that has a bunch of Nordic, a lot of Norwegian, but also Swedish, Danish, Finnish, etc. Cultural stuff, which is pretty fun. And then eventually we're going to get out of this downtown area into new ground for me. We ate at Burn Bombs yesterday, which is kind of a Middle Eastern mix with Scandinavian deli kind of thing. Here's Stabo Scandinavian gifts. I'll let you peek in here real quick. I love this. This little Life is Tough wear a helmet t-shirt. Anyway, you got some cool Nordic designs up there. I don't know what those are exactly, but kind of neat. And then you got several buildings going up downtown. Fargo is growing. It's a really cool town. I've never actually been into Fargo before, spent any time here. And it's really pretty hip, and you know, some chains. I think there's a Subway down here somewhere, but mainly these independent restaurants, coffee shops, several tattoo companies, and that sort of thing. So here's what my plan is. This is kind of this neat little food truck area over here in what used to be the Great Northern Railway Depot. Sorry. But I'm going to loop back the other side and then come back through there. That's my plan anyway. We'll see how it works out. As again, these walks are often as much an exploration for me as for you, and I've gotten a little pushback about that before from a few people, saying I should do a lot more research before I come out here, and that's a fair point. But I don't want to. I do a little bit of research beforehand, but it's fun for me just to walk and explore and discover things, as I hope it is for you as well. And we're still on Broadway. Now, here's a better view of the Fargo train depot, but there's another one like 4 blocks behind us, which is now home to the rec department, and I hope to get over there in another walk before we leave. We'll see how far I get today. It's a little tricky filming on the same side of the street. A lot of times I'll walk down the middle of the road on the smaller towns. The Bismarck Tavern. They got awesome lighting signs downtown. I love it. It's all kind of retro, but in a contemporary way, if that makes sense. Liberian restaurant, interesting. Anyway, has one person suggests I film across the street, which is great, unless there are trucks parked in the way, and then I'm just filming trucks. Coming up on 6th Ave. So we're going to go down here. Hopefully we're going to get into a neighborhood. It's a pretty cool church. St. Mary's Cathedral. Very pretty. It's so strange. I walked in Medora the other day, and we went to the music fest. I was going to report back on that. The Medora musical was amazing. It's definitely a political and religious bent to it, which wasn't really my thing, but the actual show was incredible. It was awesome, and the performers were absolutely outstanding. It was kind of jaw-dropping spectacle, and if you're ever there, I think it's $35 for an adult for the the expensive seats, which are down close, which are probably worth it. And then you can also beforehand get this pitchfork steak fondue dinner, which still not, this is a cool church. I think it's a Lutheran church, First Lutheran. I'm not exactly sure how they do it, but they literally jab these like 5, 6, 8 steaks with a pitchfork, and it's very Nordic looking to me. And they stick it in, I guess it's boiling oil. I don't know if they pre-cook them a little bit, but it comes out and it's pretty good. I liked it. And then they've got all the fixins as well, as they call them. So anyway, you do that, and then you go watch the musical. And there are, let me see, cannons and stagecoaches being pulled across the stage, and a band that's interacting with things, and they come out, and the dancers come out in the audience, and it's interesting. It's kind of a neat old apartment building over there. Let's go down there and see. Love these turn of the century buildings. And then we're coming up on the hospital as well. Just love these old church porches. There's a train coming through behind us. So I'm not sure where I was going with that whole. Oh yeah, sorry. Again, it's not just a physical exploration; it's sometimes a mental exploration as well. The feel of Fargo, being on the eastern side of the state, is so drastically different than the feel and environment on the western side. The western side being, of course, more badlands, high plains, and then the eastern side just feels Midwestern. A lot of humidity here, a lot more moisture, and amazing, beautiful trees throughout the city. Really pretty cool place. And I'm looking forward to getting back here into this neighborhood and seeing some of the houses where people live. This is Sanford Center, I guess. Ooh, I should cross over here. Now I'm gonna go down a little bit. We'll do a loop or a figure eight or something. I didn't say, please subscribe if you haven't already. It does help me out. Like and especially leave comments. I love hearing your comments. I'm gonna get some really good ones, personal stories, personal memories, that sort of thing recently. Love hearing from you guys. And I do try to reply to all of the ones that Google/YouTube lets through. I don't understand exactly how they filter them out, but there are definitely ones that sometimes don't come through, and often they're an attempt to filter out what Google sees as potentially offensive, which usually is the case, and it's nice not to have to see those, but occasionally the more innocent comments don't make it through, and I would like to see those. So share your memories and stories of Fargo. Share your corrections if I got something wrong, or if I missed something you think is super obvious and important. Let me know, let other viewers know. So there's this pillar here, up here on the left. They've got these all over town, and they've got some great history stuff in them. This is Merit Care. I'm not going to read that whole thing, but I'll If you guys want to pause and try to read it, have at it. It's about merit care. Anyway, I've learned a lot just reading those. Nice little addition. This is the Plymouth Congregational United Church of Christ over here. And I'm going to go down another block and then I'm going to loop over to the left. Because it's so strange to me to be in this much trees, this many trees and forests and humidity. It's been a while since we've been back east. We did a loop, I think it was in 2018. We went back to the Finger Lakes region of New York for a travel conference called TBEX, and then down, I took the boys to Gettysburg and, oh my gosh, what's that place in Pennsylvania where Washington wintered over with Continental troops? Drawing a blank. Anyway, and then we went down and saw Jamestown and Williamsburg and Monticello, not in that order, and did sort of a world school history tour while traveling. Mel was off doing a press trip. It was awesome, but we haven't been back east since then. We went through Cincinnati, which is the Midwestern, kind of where my family's from. And I cross over here. And it's just strange being so humid and wet. All this moisture. It's pretty incredible. We get back here into this neighborhood. This is 10th Avenue off to our left here. And we're going to continue down Broadway a little bit, maybe another block. Look how broad these medians are here between the sidewalk and the road. It's got to be 25, 30 feet, and in most cities it's usually about, I think, 6 to 8 feet. Reminds me a little bit of Denver or maybe Colorado Springs, this neighborhood. In Denver, thinking of like the Cheeseman Park area, and over towards Cherry Creek, the old fancy places. And then in Colorado Springs, I did a walk sort of north, I think it's called the Old North End or Historic North End, north of the university there, which is Colorado University, maybe something else. Oh, it's going to bother me with that Revolutionary War era fort was, especially since it's so famous. One of the cool things about this area is it's actually in the watershed of the Arctic Ocean. So the Red River flows north from here, which causes or results in some problems in the sense of flooding, because in the spring, obviously the southern areas typically, look at that house, thaw first, which puts water into the river as it drains the surrounding areas. And then it flows north where the river is still frozen, so it creates ice dams which back up the water and then overflows its banks and floods. All right, we're going to make a left on 11th here. See what kind of houses we can see. It's kind of a narrow little sidewalk. We have now, in the last week, we went over to Idaho, stayed just across the border in Washington, and now we've been to North Dakota. So we've been into 3 time zones and 3 drainages. So we've Pacific, Atlantic, and now the Arctic. And this, the Red River, actually, I'll talk about this later in another walk maybe, flows into Lake Winnipeg. What's surprising, it's been raining here the last few days, and however, apparently they've been in, they're like in level 3 water restrictions. So they can only water their yards once a week, which I think is kind of a moot point at this time. Look at these houses, they're old, but even though they're so close to downtown, they're a little run down, honestly, some of them. I would have expected these to be kind of, with all the money and newness downtown, I would have thought that this area would have been a little bit more shishi, I guess is the term I'm looking for. But that's all right. It's still a cool neighborhood. Wealth isn't everything. Like a cedar tree over here, a bush. Look at these amazing trees. You can see, I talked about this, I think in Coeur d'Alene. You can see why trees will, in some places, reduce average temperatures by up to 10 degrees in the summer. Look at that shade cover there. So it just soaks up the sun energy and it never actually hits the ground. It gets down to ground level. It also creates additional cloud cover, they've recently discovered. So forests and trees reduce warming even more than they originally thought. Let's make a left here on 8th. It's kind of a smaller street. Or is it? Sorry. This is Kennedy Court. And it's a dead end, so we're not going to go down there. But we will make a left up here. As soon as we can. I often wonder what people must be thinking as they see me filming with this. I'm using a DJI Osmo Pocket 2 with a lavalier mic plugged into the, it has this little thing on the bottom. A little, I forget what they call it, a little handle or something, but it's just an extension of the body. It's an oblong, rectangular solid shape. Anyway, what they must be thinking, who is this guy? Why is he talking into that, into this thing? And I think I need to get like a t-shirt or jacket. It says City Walks on it, maybe a hat. Morning. Kennedy Court North. Off to our left there. It's kind of a narrow, another narrow little, I guess that's Kennedy Court loops around, and is effectively it's not really a through street. Coming up on Roosevelt Church. Roosevelt, as I talked about in Medora, has a history with the Dakotas. I didn't think so much with Fargo, but I could be wrong about that. Anyway, he was an interesting guy, one of my favorite presidents. Did some pretty incredible things. Not always in the most enlightened of ways, but he did pretty much kick off the, well, this is a school, I thought it was a church. Anywho, kicked off the conservation movement, but it was also a fairly militant president, macho as they come, but fascinating to read about, fascinating just the power of his will to do things, and his level of energy, and his, at the same time, his thoughtfulness about things. One of my favorite quotes is, if I'm just going to try and get this right, do what you can, where you are, while you are there. And I try to remember that often. He's also, of course, well known for the one about, it's not the critic who is in the arena, but you know, the people that go in and fail and fail and fail, but keep trying to the best of their abilities. I love that one as well. Oh, time to change classes, or maybe time to start school. I guess it's that hour. Look at this just tunnel of trees. We're going to go down here to 10th, and I think we're going to loop back over to Broadway. See where that puts us before we head back downtown. Oh, that little bunny. We're on 10th Street, and I guess we're going to make a left on 10th Avenue. It's always seems like an odd way to organize a street grid with numbered avenues and numbered streets. Maybe it made more sense back in the day, like not having a J Street, but it doesn't quite translate today to me. These little mini gardens with some deer fencing up, rabbit fencing maybe. That one didn't make it. It's kind of fun, these little pre-made raised garden beds. Ooh, look at this garden over here, sorry. Look at all the food they are growing here. Pretty amazing to me to see tomatoes growing. Oh, another thing they have a lot of here are these sunflowers. These aren't really, these might be black-eyed Susans, but they grow sunflowers as a crop not far from here, and they have a whole sunflower trail. We are about, I think, a week too late to see them in full bloom, but throughout the summer, when they are in full bloom, they have the big ones, the ones that are, the heads are like a foot across, and just quarter sections of them. So, what is that, 120 acres of sunflowers, and they're heliotropic plants, which means their blooms or blossom, the flower head, follows the sun throughout the day. I would love to see those in full-bloom, whole fields of them. Even without them, they're pretty amazing to see these giant heads of sunflowers. And if the birds get in there before the harvesters, they're going to have a field day. Literally a day in the field. I'm just really impressed by these massive trees. Now, of course, if this wasn't a neighborhood, and I'm not sure if these are even native trees, I assume they are, the ground cover would be thick and jungly. Although, I don't know in this area, but certainly back east, native peoples used to burn out the undergrowth annually or every couple of years to make it better habitat for larger animals like deer and elk. And bison even extended back east, all the way, I think, down towards Florida. I'm not sure they made it over the Appalachians, but certainly, and that may have been 10,000 years ago, but the current species of bison, or maybe it was an earlier species, I don't know, I saw an amazing talk about the various iterations of bison over the millennia. It's pretty fascinating. Of course, the big ones, I think it's bison latrans with the massive horns off to the sides. Those were pretty cool. Some newer townhouses built here. And over there, this has got to be like 9th. Not really sure. Because there's no street sign. Coming back up, I think, on Broadway. And then we'll cross over there. And maybe this is where we came across earlier. I guess we were on 10th Avenue. This is Broadway. I'm gonna walk across in this pedestrian crossing. And then up here we'll make a right on, I want to say 5th, but I'm not sure that's accurate. Look at this little modified / homemade trailer. It's kind of cool. Human inventiveness knows no bounds. Okay, so this is 5th Street, and then we're going to make a right on 4th. Looks to be a... let's see. We'll see what we're going to do here. Yeah, we're... 5th tee's out at the hospital. So we'll go down to 4th. You can see this really nice street here, very sylvan quiet except for that truck idling. Very nice. Hopefully we're going to make it right here. Yeah. Oh, I just missed the light. I missed it. Little dog sticking its window, head out that window. It's a nice reminder. This little sign here, not all dogs like to say hello. Thank you for leashing your dog. I had a dog that, super sweet dog, not aggressive at all, except occasionally he'd get a little freaked out by something and start barking. Sometimes it was a traffic cone or a sign in the woods, or one time, very embarrassing, a guy had they were sledding, and for whatever reason, my dog was a little freaked out by that whole situation and barked. And this guy picked up his little kid because he was scared. And I would have done the same. And it's good to remember that you know your dog, but other people don't. It's like open carry of firearms. You know you're safe if you've been trained and know gun safety, but the rest of us, we're not so sure. Who knows if you have bothered to turn your safety off. But with the dogs, some people are afraid of dogs for whatever reason. Maybe they've been bitten, or maybe they didn't grow up with them. And so if your dog rushes up to them, they might be a little intimidated, and that's not really fair. So in a public place like this, please leash your dog. Roger Maris Cancer Center. Now, that's probably a local person that donated a lot of money to that. Good for him. But Roger Maris, I think, was a baseball player too. I don't know if that's the same person or not. Or maybe I have the wrong sport entirely. We are on 4th Street, just so you know. and we're headed back downtown. And like I said earlier, we're going to loop around. The intention is to loop around through the little depot lot and show you what's going on there before heading back down to the center of downtown. I guess that earlier little ramble was my, what do I call it? The perambulation pontification. I think I mentioned this before. I had somebody say, stop being such a social justice warrior and just walk, which I get. Totally understand that point of view. But I want this channel to be, I mean, it's just walks, right? So that's fine, that's great. And I think a lot of you have said how much you appreciate them, and so it's a positive thing in the world in that manner, and that makes me happy. But I want it to be more than just another walking video, walking channel, another channel on YouTube. I like it to do a little bit of promoting a better world. And I try to stay away from the more fraught topics and focus on kindness and public lands and that sort of thing. Respect. That's important to me. That said, I know you guys don't come here for that, so I try to keep it to a minimum. Of course, we have a parking garage here for the hospital. Looks like it's been around since the 80s, maybe longer. And we're getting to 7th Avenue North here that we're going to cross. Some apartments off to the right. I might need to go back down to 5th. Huh. I'm going to cross. I don't know, somebody's bike got mauled. It's too bad. There's a little extinct, looks like an old gas station or something that calls SARS Sudden Service. I like that name. You see this side of the downtown is a little more industrial. It's like an old liquor store, maybe. Well, I'm looking at the map here, and I'm not seeing the railroad tracks. Oh, here they are. So I think I missed our turn. So we'll dogleg back. So here's the Amtrak station for Fargo. So there is passenger service here. And that's where I want to go, the older non-Amtrak station. The railroad passenger service has passed its glory days, it would seem. So this newer building is the Amtrak station. So I guess that's kind of the extent of that. However, the older station is home to the Great Northern Bicycle Company and I think some sort of bike share service maybe, or bike co-op. Of course, we got a new building going in here too, and then a parking garage, but an old railway car, looks like they're using for something. Got plenty of exhaust fans. And you can see some bicycles in the window. Neat old building. And you can see kind of the Broadway down there. I'm gonna dog leg up here to see if I can peek in the window. They are not open currently. But it looks like a pretty extensive store. Lots of space and lots of great bikes. It's been so hard to find bikes this year. I'm trying to pick up a couple mountain bikes from my family, and they just aren't available. All right. Got a few food trucks over there. Now, imagine they bring in more at times. Straight ahead is an Empire Tavern. Looks a little edgy. And then something else next to it, which is, there's a big Z on it. I don't know what it is. Zandbro's Variety Store. One of the things I like, we can see down from our hotel window, is there are some condos downtown here that with some of them have roof patios and stuff like that, which looks like an awesome place to live downtown. It's not that loud down here for a downtown, so I can't imagine it would be like some of those other bigger cities with sirens going off all the time and construction all the time. Looking downtown here, there's the construction again. I'm gonna call it for now. We're at 50 some odd minutes. I got 50 minutes. I want to thank you guys for joining us on this walk of Fargo, North Dakota. I'm hoping to have two more, at least one from Fargo, so I hope you'll come back for those. Possibly another one from Bismarck if we find time to stop on the way home. But I hope you'll come back and join us for those. And I hope you guys will all take care and stay safe. And we will see you again soon. Thanks again for joining us here in Fargo, North Dakota. See you again. Until then, keep on stepping.